let's face it, Obama, in addition to his inexperience, used fear tactics to push through this boondoggle spending program. He lied when he said to you that the world's going to come to an end unless it's passed. And I can prove it. Let's just deal with unemployment. I don't want to bore you with statistics. We're not back to the 1920s. It's nowhere near the level of unemployment of the 1920s, when it was running near, before the collapse of the stock market or soon thereafter, it was running around 25% unemployment. Our unemployment now is, what, 9, 10%? So that doesn't hold true. The reduction in share values is nowhere near the reduction in share values compared to the market of that time. He used nothing but fear tactics to sell hope. And the hope was for the grifters inside the Democrat Party machine. That was the real hope he was selling. WTNT, Michael, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, it's a pleasure to speak to you. I was just asking if there's anything positive in the stimulus package.
I don't know. I have the list in front of me of gross spending, and all of them look to me like pork barrel items. Now you say, well, someone's going to benefit from it, and some of the money's going to trickle down to the average person. I don't know if that's true. Some of it, by definition, some of it will. But let me ask you something. $10 million, I'll take a small one, for urban canals. Do you have any idea what that is?
No.
What's $10 million for urban canals?
Here in Washington, D.C., we have
$1.5 billion of your money is going to be spent for carbon capture projects. What is that?
I'm not crazy about the package, and that's why I was seeing.
But you see, I look at this, and I see a lot of construction of government buildings. Like, look at this one. This is amazing. A big portion of this money is going to construct buildings. $198 million to design and furnish the Department of Homeland Security headquarters. Design and furnish the DHS headquarters. You hear this? Now, do we know if the design firm is an American firm? No. Do we know if the furniture is going to come from American furniture manufacturers, for example, in the Carolinas? No. Maybe it'll come from China. This is why I'm giving you an example. We don't even know where the money's going to go. I can go down the list. There are other crazy things in here. $5.5 billion to make federal buildings green. What does that mean? No one knows what that means. $2 billion for manufacturing advanced batteries for hybrid cars. What does that mean? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's going to get the contract. $100 million, well, let's see what that one is. $255 million for priority procurements at Coast Guard. That's to build a polar icebreaker. Now, I don't know who's going to build it. They're going to build it in Korea, or they're going to build it in Mississippi. If they build a ship in Mississippi, I'd say, all right, the shipyard workers at least are going to have work. Not that the Coast Guard needs an icebreaker. There's no need for it. But all right, so it's a pork barrel project, but the ship workers will get something out of it. But we don't know. They could be giving the contract to China to build them a ship for all I know. Right? Look at this thing. It's crazy. $522 million for construction for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Not one Indian's going to get one bag of rice. Not one Indian's going to get one new house. Not one Indian's going to get one new anything. Construction of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. $412 million for CDC headquarters. Not one disease is going to be cured. Not one cripple is going to get a crutch. Not one blind person is going to get a new eye. Not one deaf person is going to get a new hearing aid. But $412 million of your money will be spent to construct CDC headquarters so they can study disease a little further. In other words, have a little more fun on your dime. $500 million earmark for NIH facilities in Bethesda, Maryland. Facilities, again, construction. Why is so much of this money going into construction projects? I'll let you figure it out. $300 million for constructing FBI office buildings. $800 million for constructing federal prison system buildings and facilities. I don't read $800 million for constructing federal prisons. Just buildings and facilities. Again, construction projects. $307 million for constructing National Institute for Standards and Technology office buildings. So an awful lot of this, $1 billion to build NOAA office buildings. So a lot of it is office building construction for the government to build grand edifices along the lines of what Joseph Stalin did when he took over the Soviet Union. He built great big buildings in his honor. You know, we should name all of these buildings the Obama building. But the most worrisome item on this so-called stimulus list is $160 million for so-called volunteers at the Corporation for National and Community Service. This is run by hardcore Leninists, and they are the people who should worry you. In other words, Acorn and their ilk are getting $160 million to continue doing what they did. So don't assume all of this goes for jobs. In fact, Obama lied, and he was caught lying when he said 3 million new jobs. Then he said 3 million jobs saved or created. 3 million jobs saved or created. Originally, it was to create 3 million jobs because everybody was broke. Now, I'm all for the government helping the poor if they have to. I'm not saying let them starve. I never said that. I never said let them eat cake. And let me remind you of something else, because it's important you know who I am and who you're listening to. I have told you that I'm the son of an immigrant. And I also told you that when my father was young, he had no job during the Great Depression. And he told me that if it was not for the WPA, the Works Projects Administration, he probably really would have been in trouble. But he got a government job as a chauffeur to some assemblyman or whatever, and that got him through a few years of the Depression. He died too young for me to ask him how he even got that job, because I don't know. He had no political connections. He was just some kid on the streets. How he got it, I don't know. But he got a job driving some assemblyman around, and that got him through the Depression. So I understand that occasionally the government has to step in and give jobs. But where are the jobs here? I see mainly construction projects, which means the money is going to go to construction companies. Do you understand this? And one senator tried to make sure that the construction jobs went to American workers, not to non-citizens. Your friends in Congress on the Democrat side would not even let a vote come up on it. So remember, the next time you hear the Democrats say they did it for the little man, they're lying to you. They didn't care about you. And if you're a union worker, they did not protect you at all, so far as I could tell. They may be hiring non-citizens for these construction jobs.